What if we started seeing everything as neutral? Whoa, right? What if there's no right or wrong and everything is just neutral events? What would that look like? I mean, what does that look like for us as humans to take the pressure off of ourselves about making all of the right choices and avoiding all of the wrong or bad choices, right? And what does that look like for us to take some of that pressure off of ourselves and maybe think of life as just a school? These are a bunch of lessons, and it's just about life being a bunch of choices, right? We have to make choices every single day, every week, all year. I mean, we have to make choices constantly. What if it's not so cut and dry that everything is either right or wrong, good or bad? What if everything is just neutral and we just have choices that we have to make and then lessons that we learn from them, or new perspectives that we can see them from? Or, I mean, have you ever thought about how two completely different people can have the same situation happen, like the same neutral situation, but have a completely different outlook or meaning from it or response to it? Is one of them better than the other? And if it is, who's to judge that, right? Like, one person getting a divorce might feel a lot of shame, and one person might feel excitement, relief, right? Divorce is a neutral thing if you take all of the meaning and judgment and societal thoughts about it off, and it's just a thing. Just like getting let go from your job or getting a new job. You can have two different people can have completely different, getting a new job might make one person really excited and joyful, and it might make somebody else feel overwhelmed or dread, just depending on mindset, depending on maybe where they're at in their life at the moment, or just their level of awareness, or just old thought patterns that maybe they grew up with, right? And that's the other thing, like, where did these ideas of right and wrong even come into play in our heads in the first place? And when I say right or wrong, I don't mean this I mean when we're using it as making the best decision for ourselves to avoid pain or to have the least amount of suffering or pain, right? I don't mean to say that it's not right or wrong to go harm someone, right? I'm not talking about that. I think we all can agree that there are certain things that are not okay, regardless, right? So we're not talking about we're talking about just our day-to-day kind of decisions that we make, and where we're always trying to find what the right decision is. So when I'm saying that, I'm meaning not, if a criminal should have gone and been a serial killer or not, or whatever, right? I don't mean that. I mean when we're referring to it as what is the best decision for us to move towards pleasure and away from pain type of choices, when we're trying to decide on if we really need to get a new car, or when we need to get a new car, or when we're trying to decide, we meet someone, do we give them our number or do we not, right? Is this right or wrong? Are they right or wrong for us? Or, when it comes to selling our houses or moving away, right? And we're trying to decide what the best decision is, or when we're looking for a new job, what's the best place it can work, right? And we're always, or at least that's my experience. That's how I've grown up most of my life, is obsessively trying to do everything the right way. And I realize when I say the right way, I mean the best way for me to have the outcomes that I want, right? As if there's like some reward for making all of the right choices your whole life, right? But that's a real thing, like for me. And I know some of you out there that we just really struggle with decision making and what the best decision is. But what if we just started to practice looking at things as neutral and seeing it as, okay, we have a choice to make. We make a choice and observe the outcomes of it, whether it went the way we wanted or not, which is what we are referring to when we're saying the best choice, right? We're wanting it to go a certain way to get the outcome that we want. But it's not like there's a universal right decision, and because somebody else could not see it the same way as us or not want that same result as us. So does that make them wrong? Does that make us wrong? But that's sometimes how we approach or how we judge certain things or think of certain things. And it's like, I just want to challenge this, because this is something I've been thinking a lot about lately. Like, everything is neutral, and we put so much emphasis on trying to come up with the right answer, right? The right decision, what's right, what's wrong? What if I make this bad decision? I don't want to make a bad decision, right? And it's just like we go through all this drama, and me too, like, and I have to catch myself, and I'm starting to realize, like, maybe there is no right and wrong. Everything is just neutral. We give it meaning, right? And we're labeling these things as right or wrong, but I think that's actually doing us a disservice. Instead of just accepting that we have choices that we need to make, and being aware of what the best or what the decision is that we're going to make in the moment, right? Whatever choice it is that we make, and understanding that it may or may not go the way that we want, but accepting it, and what did we learn from it when it did or didn't, right? And having acceptance that we did the best choice that we could in the moment at the time, right? With our level of awareness at that time, or with whatever felt right at that time, hopefully, right? So that also leads me into something else, because it's like, I think what it's about is that the best choice is what actually feels the most authentic to us. Not necessarily what somebody else tells us is the best choice, but what actually feels good and feels aligned with the life that we want to lead, or the type of person that we want to be, right? And we're going to make mistakes, and it doesn't always, we're human. But practicing, I think it's about just practicing being more aligned with what actually feels authentic to our true self, which takes a lot of practice to even be able to feel or notice or hear that voice in our head, or our intuition, or to even fully understand what we want. Oh, that is such a hard thing for us sometimes, is what do we want? Like, just figuring out what you want. But it's like figuring out the type of person that you want to be, and then doing your best to make the choices that you have to make in your life, more of them align with the person that you want to be, versus trying to have this picture of what is right or wrong in society, or what is right or wrong, to everyone else, and trying to fit that mold. Doesn't it just feel much better to take some of that pressure off and think of everything as neutral, and that we're all on this journey and learning different lessons? We're all learning lessons, And that's what this is all about. And we're learning different lessons at different times. I think that's why there's a lot of judgment, is because if we were all going through the same lesson at the same time, we'd have more compassion, but we're not. We're on different levels, right? But everything is neutral. The choice that we're given choices, paths, to go, crossroads, whatever, and asking ourselves, what feels most aligned with the type of person that I want to be, or the type of life that I want to live, or the way that I want to feel each day, because we have to live with ourselves every day, and making the decisions that are best aligned with those. And then having acceptance or compassion if things don't work out, maybe the way that we want. Maybe they will. And I think if the more in tuned that we are with how the person that we truly want to be, the life that we truly want to have, we'll just naturally start to make more of the choices that are in alignment, and it'll feel more right, and we'll get more of the outcomes that we want, and we'll be making more of the right decisions, right? But in reality, we're just making more of the decisions that feel best to us, that we get more of what we want. Is this making sense? I'm challenging this concept of right or wrong, because that was something I just plagued myself with growing up. And I'm working on breaking this habit of just trying to do the right thing constantly, right? You get good grades in school. You don't do drugs. You go to college after high school. You get a good job. You always work hard. You always, get up, go to work, make money, you save money, right? That's the right thing, save money. You, work out, eat right, dress nice, keep your whatever, right? Just keep your house clean, all these things, right? That are the right thing, which I'm not saying that these are bad things. I'm just saying it's just not like looking at stuff, because my mindset growing up was if I made all of the right decisions, I would get some reward, right? I would get everything that I wanted. My life would be the way that I wanted it, and it would be happy and perfect. And this was like my unrealistic mindset. And I didn't realize that it was unreal, that I even had that type of mindset growing up, and how unrealistic it must have been until not that long ago, because I began to realize that there is no reward. There's no reward that shows up on your door in a frame because you've made all of these right decisions your whole life, not, what's some of the, not having sex before marriage, or not having kids out of marriage, or whatever these things are that are right, that we try to, that some of us from a young age try to do all the right steps in all the right order. And it's kind of just messed up to think about. It's like, but that's how it was to me, thinking that if I didn't do all of these things in the right order, I wasn't going to be able to have the things that I wanted. And then you stop and you realize there's no award for on your deathbed of you made all of the right decisions in the right order. Congratulations. What? We can take some of that pressure off of ourselves and just practice each day trying to make more of the decisions that we feel at the time are going to bring us more true peace. I'm not talking necessarily superficial short-term pleasure, right? Sometimes that can lead us down a dangerous path. I'm talking genuine, what feels really authentic to you. And that understanding and knowing what that feels like really takes a lot of work on the front end to really just practice knowing what you actually want and how you actually want to feel, not just getting like a hit of dopamine, right? Or it's different. And once you really start to feel and pay attention to what feels good in your body, I think that's powerful. And then just practicing making the choices that are in alignment with wanting to feel that way. Not so much what is right or wrong in our society or what we've been told, because who's to say any of that's right? Who are we told that by? Other humans, right? I mean, it's like, are they perfectly happy? Like, do they even know? Like, think about it. I don't know, I'm just really on this topic because this is like recent that I've been having this debate with myself of like, what is actually right or wrong? And what is the point sometimes of trying to do all of these certain right things? Because they don't lead, actually, at least my experience, they didn't lead to like overtly lead to like the things that I want. Like it doesn't directly connect, at least not in all circumstances. Maybe in some circumstances. I mean, if you're saving money for a specific thing and then you reach that goal and you can get that thing, then okay, that serves a purpose. But I'm just giving it broadly, right? Like you're not going to necessarily just get everything handed to you that you want in life automatically once you have completed a certain amount of steps. Like that's not how life works. But I almost had this unrealistic mindset of that growing up, and it wasn't until recently that I even had that mindset. Like it wasn't something I was thinking like it was, but it was like I can think back now and I actually realized I thought that, but I didn't I wasn't necessarily thinking of it like day to day consciously. It was just a way that I started living where I would try to just do everything the right way, even just down to the smallest thing, because I thought if I didn't, I wouldn't be able to find the person that I wanted to spend my life with, or that I wouldn't be able to have, a good life, a good job, feel good, be happy, be a good person, whatever it was. And it's just like, as I'm older and I really question these things, like, what is right or wrong? Everything is neutral. Everything is really neutral, and we assign it meaning. And sometimes it's just our old belief patterns that we need to challenge, and even challenge where they came from, where they even are to begin with. So I hope you got something from my rant today, and I hope it was helpful. So like, subscribe, share, all the things, comment if you have something that you want to add, and I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.